This is the Dove Lady, and just been laying here in the sunshine in my hammock and looking in the yards, all the work I need to be getting about doing, and noticing all of the beautiful blossoms that are coming out. I'm going to take you to some of them. This is the fig tree. It makes great big beautiful figs. And they're trying to green up now. And over here, 1 year, about 3 years ago, this plum tree gave us bushels of plums. They were just very good that year. We made plum jelly and everything. Oh, and I love to come out here and just pick a plum and eat it. But since then, the frost has been getting them because they bloom too early. And this is March the 7th, so I hope they're not going to bloom they're not going to get another frost. And this is our little mountain laurel tree that's gotten real big. And beautiful blossoms on it. It smells so good. If you pick one and put it in your room, even when it starts drying up, it still is smelling really good. And over here, doesn't look real great right now, but this is a muscadine vine, and it will be full of big old purple muscadines. Last year it gave us a bunch. Now we've got a big pile of stuff that needs to be burned out there. We've been having it for quite a while. And there's my circle that I haven't been keeping up so good because I've been kind of down in the back. I went in to my pain doctor, and he had me come in for an injection where they have to sedate you to give you a shot in the back. They could not get their little needle into my veins to get blood so they couldn't do the sedation. They must have poked me 7 times trying to get blood. So finally they said, well, if you could put up with this, you probably could take the shot easy enough with just under a local anesthesia. So I got to get the shot, and it did hurt. Thank goodness they gave me these little things to squeeze, because, man, I needed to squeeze them really bad so I wouldn't move, because you don't want the shot to go in wrong. It was a little bit painful. This is my VE tent. The rose bush that's grown on the top that makes yellow roses is already greening up. But all this other, I've got to cut it away. It's the passion fruit vine left over from last year. They'll grow again. I put some of the passion fruit that fell off on the ground so it will make new seeds for more of them to grow, and they'll just grow wild here and there in the yard, and I can transfer them. This fig tree is getting green. It makes little tiny figs. And this thing makes, these are the, I forget what they're called. They make a white flower that smells really good. And this right here is a tree that is a loquat. And it's doing real good. Over here, this little tree is not doing too good right now, but it's alive. I do believe it's alive. It's a fig tree, a wild fig tree. And there is an ant pile all around this crepe myrtle. Got to get after those ants. Look. Oh, yeah. They're there. Oh boy, are they there. And if I'm too close, they'll be all over me. They burn like the dickens, the fire ants. And that is, oh boy, that's my apricot tree trying to bloom again. No. That's my lime tree. I lost my apricot tree. But this lime tree hasn't put on a single line. Maybe this year will be the first year. Oh, and here's a tree. It's called a bottle tree. And Right here was where my apricot tree was that died. But before it died, it put out all this resin. And it put it out in little beads. So I picked them all off. They looked like little jewels. And as you see, my circle needs a little work. Quite a lot of little work. I used to keep it up much better than this. I call this my sacred geometry garden. And I put a lot of my sacred geometry pieces out here that I'll show you some of them. They're kind of covered in vine now. There's one of them. And there's one. And there's one that a bird made a nest in last year. And I got to see little baby mockingbirds grow up. And there's some of my sacred geometry. I love sacred geometry. Nobody around me gets it. They don't understand why I make them all the time, but the 64 tetrahedron grid means something. You ought to look it up. This is one of them. The 64 charged battery out.